Hey guys, I want to take a minute to make a video on how I seemingly solved an issue here. I'm a pretty new LabRadar user and I'm trying to develop a new round for this 300 Win Mag here that I've recently got all reconfigured and I'm shooting a brand new load. I'm shooting a Hornady ELDX 220 grain round with reloader 22 powder and Lapua brass, and that combination's a pretty expensive combination. So imagine my frustration when I came out here and set everything up and I read the manual on the LabRadar and I did everything it said and positioned the LabRadar on a full-size tripod, a quality tripod. And I put that LabRadar, instead of doing it over there, I put it out over here. Now, in the manual, it has various different positions depending upon whether you've got a suppressor, whether you have a muzzle brake or no muzzle brake, whether your muzzle brake, jets to the sides, perpendicular to the barrel or at an angle, or maybe, in some other orientation. And I read all of that and I followed the manual to the letter. And it said for this type of suppressor, which jets back this way at a hard angle, that the LabRadar device should be slightly in front of the barrel, positioned about like so. And I did that and I had absolutely no luck whatsoever. I tried it on this side, on that side. I thought my problem was aiming. I looked at a bunch of other YouTube videos. I tried the straw trick, which, the jury's still out for me on that one, but I did in fact put a straw in there and I tried that. A whole bunch of other stuff. Every time I did it, I would get an acquisition error on here. I couldn't figure out what was going on. So, I called and talked to the LabRadar support guys. I was on the phone with an hour for them. We couldn't get anything going. I had another rifle out here. I had a 30-06 with no muzzle brake, and I was able to get that rifle to work. And then I had to reconfigure everything because this one is so much bigger than a 30-06 hunting gun. So I had to move everything, and I thought for sure I must have misaligned or misaimed the radar, because that's the number one thing in the manual for troubleshooting if you have that acquisition error issue. Well, after an entire day of messing around, here's what I figured out. So I went in and I got an AR-15 of mine, which I have cheap ammo for, and I can shoot that with, almost impunity. And I tried many different things. First of all, I aimed this the best I could, and I put it where the LabRadar guy told me to if I was having trouble. He said to put it right here, right next to the scope. So the front face was right here, to aim it as best I could, basically trying to tuck it this way from those gases that would come across here, right? He wanted it right here. I put it right there. I tested it out with 30-06, worked fine. Went back to this gun, 300 Win Mag with that big compensator on it, didn't work. Swapped everything around again. Went from 30-06 down to a AR-15 using 5.56. Shot a bunch of 5.56 through here, and I was getting it to work every time. I mean, if you look, way down there at my range, I was shooting at the target. And again, I got a good backdrop back there. I've got, no danger back there. So I shot way off to the side of the target, way off to that side of the target. I shot, a little bit low. I didn't want to shoot high, but I shot at the very top of the target. There's a stump back there. You can see I shot that. Every one of those shots read without any problem whatsoever. The gentleman I talked to said that at that range, the target area for the radar would be huge. So there shouldn't be any kind of problem. It should be pretty easy to aim, although I haven't found it to be too easy to aim. That's what they said. Well, long story short, I said, you know what? I'm going to try something different, because every gun seems to work but this one. So I went and grabbed a 30 cal suppressor that I have, and I put the 30 cal suppressor on here. Now, that messed up with the harmonics of the gun. I don't want to leave it that way, but I got every single shot to acquire without any problem whatsoever. Every single shot worked perfectly. It was the first time I was able to get that to happen. Without moving anything. And again, this is with the LabRadar right here next to the scope, like the guy said, without moving anything. I grabbed that wrench, I put the compensator back on, set that suppressor right there, took a shot, immediately had an acquisition error. Took one more shot to be sure, acquisition error. So then I thought, you know what? I'm gonna move this as far over here as I possibly can, as far as I dare. And I was kind of looking at the compensator, trying to find the holes and figure out where would be a safe spot so this doesn't get blown off. I've had many things blown off the table here. And in doing so, I set this here. I was able to come over here with the AR-15. I took a couple of shots just to make sure I had a really good spot. Once I had this really, really well aligned, came over here, pulled the trigger, and then I shot several, cheap rounds of ammunition. I'm just shooting regular cheapy FMJs under cheap powder that's plentiful here, just to make sure I got this working. So that's how I solved my LabRadar issues. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. I messed around with this for quite a while, and again, I did everything they said, and you would not think, at least I would not think, that out over here in this area out here there'd be a whole lot of gas disturbance. But clearly here and here with this ultradyne compensator is no man's land for a LabRadar, and that over there seems to work. Have a great day.